causing all kinds of trouble today. All right. My friends, have you ever gone swimming in an ice-cold pool? You go over to test the water. Oh, man. Freezing. Well, you know what? That water is not getting any warmer. So you're better off to just dive in and start swimming. I find life is a lot like that. There's so many moments when you try something new, and you might feel scared or uncomfortable. The best thing you can do right then is just go ahead and take the plunge. My Toastmaster career was a perfect example. I started Toastmasters on the other side of the world when I lived in Beijing, China. I was there to teach English and learn Chinese. Now, living on the other side of the world, I had no friends, no family, no one to talk to. It was rough. So I called up my old friend and mentor, Joe, for advice. He told me, "Dave, you have to join a Toastmaster club. Soon you will have more friends than you can count." I was scared. I was scared even to dip a toe in the water. But weeks went by. Finally, I worked up my nerve and I got into kiddie pool. I showed up to a meeting and I was hooked. From that point on, just like Joe said, I had more friends than I could count. Especially in my bad Chinese. E, R, San. That's all I remember. Oh, yes, well, there we go. After a year in China, I moved back to the States, where I started my career as a financial writer. And what better place to do that than New York, the home of Wall Street? Now, I learned my lesson and I immediately signed up for a Toastmasters. And let me tell you, I was excited to show off my stuff. Because you see, living in China, I was the only native speaker in my club. So every time we did table topics, let me tell you, I won. Every single time. But when I got to New York, whole different ballgame. I got my butt kicked. I realized I had a lot of work to do. So I did the unthinkable. Picked up my Toastmaster manual. I finally started studying. Crazy, right? Yeah, for a couple of years, this beat-up book was my Bible. I swam a lot of laps through these pages. And during that time, I learned lessons like, you gotta loosen up on the stage. You can't just grip the podium and tear it. If you feel like the audience is maybe starting to fall asleep, well, you can wake them up by getting a little bit loud, and then getting quiet and bringing them back in. And of course, every speech can be helped with a little visual aid. It took a while, but I finally took the plunge and started studying the Toastmaster lessons, and it helped me so much. The next part of my journey was when I moved to California, to Silicon Valley. I moved there because some friends of mine were starting a software company, and they needed a finance guy to crunch the numbers. Now, I knew what I had to do, so I immediately joined the Toastmaster Club, and it was fun at first. But you know, if all you do is swim laps in your backyard pool, it starts to get a little bit boring. And that's when I realized with Toastmasters, you've got this whole ocean to explore. So when I was in California, I started visiting other clubs. I went to district training events, and for the first time ever, I signed up to compete in international speech contests. I knew it was going to be tough, so I worked really, really hard, studied day and night, and wrote a great speech. So when I got up on the big stage, I got my butt kicked. But it's okay. You know, even though I tried to do this beautiful swan dive, and instead just took a big fat belly flop, I'm still really happy about the experience. It's much, much better to get off the sidelines and just take that plunge. So here I am in the next step of my journey, living in DC, my new home, and hopefully the new home of my startup. Now at Toastmasters, there's always another challenge. I feel like I've done a lot, but I've got yet another thing to conquer. You can see this old book is falling apart, so now it's time to switch to the new digital system pathways. And let me tell you, after getting used to this, that water is looking pretty chilly. It's gonna be hard, but I'm not holding back. 2020, I'm going in head first and taking that plunge. And with the new year coming up, I would ask you all to think for a little bit and do the same. What is your goal for the next year? What do you want to do personally, for work, or for Toastmasters? Whatever it is, I urge you, don't hold back. Join me, please, in taking this plunge. Let's take a second and imagine. It's a hot summer day. The sun is shining, and the diving board is all ours. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Cannonball! Thank you.
Very strong.
Thank you.
Very strong.
Did you like it?
Very good.
Oh, thank you.